Tucked along a dark, quiet stretch of Old Post Road in Sudbury, Massachusetts, sits Longfellow's Wayside Inn. Opening its doors in 1716, it holds the title of the oldest operating inn in the United States, a genuine anchor to colonial America. Over the centuries, its worn wooden floors have been walked by an incredible roster of documented historical heavyweights. Everyone from George Washington to Thomas Edison has spent time within these walls. Given that kind of rich pedigree, you might expect visitors to be completely captivated by the verifiable history. But if you talk to the inn's resident historian, you'll hear a very specific frustration. This chart shows the volume of guest inquiries at the inn. Visitors are 5 times more likely to ask about a ghost story involving a woman named Jerusha Howe than the actual history. And the strangest part? This ghost story only really gained traction in the 1990s, fueled almost entirely by the rise of the internet. It begs an uncomfortable question. How does a physical site with centuries of profound historical and literary significance get entirely hijacked by a sensationalized ghost rumor? The answer reveals a lot about how we consume media today. We frequently bypass the complex, nuanced weight of actual history in favor of a cheap, easily digestible thrill. To understand what is being lost, you have to look at what actually happened here. Built by David Howe in 1716, the inn served as a vital hub for colonial daily life. By 1775, local militias were using it as a meeting place to organize and march against the British at the battles of Lexington and Concord. The site's survival into the modern era is thanks to the deep pockets of Henry Ford. In 1923, Ford purchased the inn and thousands of surrounding acres, investing heavily to preserve the property as a functioning living history museum. But the seed for its mythological makeover was planted decades earlier, with the 1862 arrival of the poet Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Longfellow arrived seeking refuge from a horrific personal tragedy. The year prior, his wife Fanny died terribly after her dress caught fire. Longfellow tried valiantly to extinguish the flames with his own body, leaving him severely burned and completely shattered by grief. He channeled that intense mourning into his famous collection, Tales of a Wayside Inn. The poems, including the legendary Paul Revere's Midnight Ride, cemented the inn's national fame, but they also prioritized romantic, poetic mythology over strict, verifiable facts. Longfellow proved that a compelling emotional narrative easily sticks in the public consciousness, while dry historical details simply fade away. That dynamic laid the groundwork for the modern obsession with Jerusha Howe. The real Jerusha was the sister of the inn's last Howe landlord. Historical accounts describe her as a highly refined woman, an arbiter of taste who owned the area's first spinet piano and played it beautifully. Her legacy, however, has been reduced to a folkloric tragedy. The old story goes that she fell for an English suitor who promised to return for her, but never did. It is said she died of a broken heart, and her spirit now famously haunts her old bedroom, Room 9. This demure 19th century woman has since become the target of modern paranormal reality TV, an industry that relies on aggressive, hyper-sexualized tactics to manufacture engagement. Shows like Ghost Adventures visit the inn and treat her memory with startling disrespect. Instead of investigating the site's rich past, the hosts attempt to seduce the ghost, ending episodes by bringing flowers into Room 9 for a televised supernatural booty call. We are trading an incredible legacy of real colonial courage and genuine human grief for a pair of guys in night vision goggles yelling at manufactured audio static. This brand of spectral exploitation effectively erases Jerusha's actual humanity. It takes a real, complex woman who lived 2 centuries ago and reduces her to a cheap, disposable thrill for television. If you actually spend the night in the dark, wood-paneled isolation of Room 9, you realize the space doesn't need exaggerated television antics to feel impactful. While exploring the room, you'll likely uncover the secret drawer society. Tucked into the old beams and antique furniture are hidden notes and small tokens left behind by previous guests. It is a quiet, entirely organic chain of human connection, stretching back to the 1950s. It stands in perfect opposition to the loud, abrasive artificiality of modern paranormal pop culture. But spending time there does leave room for real mystery. One travel writer recently stayed in room 9, meticulously verifying the old-fashioned latch on his door was entirely unengaged when he left for dinner. When he returned, he found the room inexplicably locked from the inside. True history is already heavily layered with real human grief, colonial resilience, and quiet, unexplained moments. It certainly doesn't need to be browbeaten by a reality television crew to be profound.